5 disturbing true pet horror stories. My mum has, for her whole entire adult life, wanted a long-hair male tuxedo cat to replace the one she lost as a teen. She got one in April a couple of years back, like 20 years after her first died. That same year, in December, he had a seizure late at night, and then another, and then another. As soon as our vet opened that morning, we rushed him in. He had the worst rotted tooth the vet had ever seen. She was surprised that it hadn't just fallen out of his mouth, but when she touched the tooth, it did just that. The tooth infection had caused a super high fever, which was causing the seizures. She gave him antibiotics, a sedative, and told us some things to help lower the fever in the meantime. The seizures didn't stop. About 6 times an hour he would have one, piss himself, drool all down his body and thrash across the house. My mum held him and cried for a week. We brought him to the vet 4 to 5 days in a row. At some point, they even stopped charging us, but would always sedate him, and over the weekend they gave us needles and meds to inject him. The last day, he had non-stop seizures for over 6 hours, and my mum held him the whole time. The worst part, in a week of nothing but worst parts, was that he had no symptoms before the seizures. No bad breath, still ate lots of food, totally happy and content. It just came out of nowhere. He was literally the cat she always wanted. He loved to be held in a sling. He loved when she gave him any kind of attention. He waited for her to wake up or come home from work and then needed to be held immediately. He was her everything, and she was so crushed. That vet was amazing, though. We still go to her, and she's always super nice and understanding. My sister had 2 pet mice. One was sweet and friendly and honestly a bit dumb. She couldn't find her way out of a paper bag, but she was so happy to see you when you finally helped her out of it. The other was suspicious of everything, mean to her sister, the sweet mouse, and super intelligent. One day she engineered a daring escape using their little wooden castle and ventured out into our 2-story home. My sister saw her first and tried to catch her. She was too smart to fall for treats, however, and ran the other way. I saw her coming and tried to stop her, which unfortunately caused her to veer toward the open-air 2-story railing. For a moment, everything stood still. I swear to this day that that mousy little bitch looked me straight in the eye before she jumped off that railing. She was escaping that day, dead or alive. Long story short, we had a Yorkie as well, who was on the first floor when the mouse hit the ground. My mum thought she was dead on impact, but hurried over and scooped her up anyway to prevent the dog from getting to the body. And that was when the mouse came to and bit the shit out of my mum's hand, leaving a permanent scar. The mouse somehow survived her ordeal completely unscathed, probably out of spite. We eventually gave the little escapee back to my biology teacher, who bred them every couple of years for the unit on genetics. Last I heard, she got a whole cage to herself due to her feral personality and large cow-like patches. I personally like to picture her terrorizing hapless freshmen to this day, but she's probably long gone by now. The sweet mouse lived a nice, uneventful life without her territorial sister there to bother her. We never kept mice as pets again. When I was 4, I got my first pet, a bright red betta fish named Teddy. I loved that fish. One day a friend came over, and being the proud pet owner, I showed him Teddy. Well, the first thing he immediately did was to grab the fish out of the bowl and slam the fish to the ground. I remember trying to pick up the squirming fish to put him back in the water, but it was too late. My mum made my former friend and his mother leave after my former friend's mother refused to punish or even have her son apologize. When I was 13, my dad's dog was a mastermind at breaking out of the yard to run rampant and get pregnant throughout the neighborhood. One day around lunchtime, I heard squealing and I went outside to find my dad's piece of shit dog tearing apart a Pomeranian puppy in our front yard, right in front of the neighbor's kids who owned the puppy. It was traumatic. Dad never took responsibility. My cat had this battle wound on his neck that got infected. The day my university textbooks, Feynman Lectures on Physics, arrived in the post, I had them sitting on my desk. My cat jumps up onto the desk and starts scratching himself. He rips open the abscess on his neck and just sprays blood and pus all over my new textbooks, ruining several pages. He wouldn't stop, just furiously scratching, causing even more blood and pus to splatter all over the walls, my PC, monitor, keyboard, etc. It was awful. Saying that, the textbook ended up being pretty shit as learning material, so not a massive loss overall.